Hello everyone, good evening. So welcome to block 4, topic 6. So basically this is the last topic for block 4. So for tonight, we will be discussing about data cleansing with pandas. So now there is no such thing as perfect data. So in every data that we will handle, we will surely encounter something that is either missing or incomplete from a data set that we are about to analyze. So we have different um, things to different methods to apply so that we would be able to cleanse these types of data. So for now, we will be discussing about the removing and filling in the missing data by using the methods drop NA, fill NA, and the drop method. So let me just reshare my screen. Can you see my Google Colab now? Okay, so for our first method, so we have the drop NA method. So basically, the drop NA method drops the rows or columns with missing data. So here is an example on how we will be able to use the drop NA method. Okay, so let's just print our data set first. For a while. Still connecting. Okay, so now we have this data set in here, and as you can see, we have um a data in here which says none or not a number, which represent a missing data. So let's see what the drop NA method will do if we applied it to our data set. So using the same data set, I'll just assign another table named cleaned df, and I will apply the drop NA method. So let's run it. Now, as you can see, the only thing that was left was ANA 21 and math, which is basically the um, complete the column with complete data. So for Bodan, we have a none in age, and we have someone that has no age or no name or none in the name. So basically, when you use the drop NA method, um, it will drop or it will delete the data that has a null value. So with our example, since this the first line was the only thing that was complete, so it was the only one returned when we applied the function drop NA. Then we have the second function, which is the fill NA. So the fill NA methods fills in missing data with specified value or method. So the first method that we used, which was the drop NA method, it drops the data with missing values, while the fill NA method fills in the missing data. So let's take an example. So we have this data set wherein we have here values none. So let's print our data set first. Let's move this in here. So as we can see, we have here some none values. Now, um, we have here the fill NA method, which states that your data on your first axis. Um, so if it is none, we calculate the mean of those in the first row. Then for the second one, if there is no data, so we just gather the mean of all the data present in their line, and same for the third one. So let's run this. So as you can see, the non-values were replaced by some numbers. So for this one, since we only have one entry in here, so basically its min would be 2. And in here, so it would be 6 plus 9 over 2, 4.5. So we have here a 4.5. So that is how we will be able to fill missing data. So either we put a specific data in here on what will be the specific value. So it's possible for us to assign a specific value, or in this case, a method. So another method, mean, was applied to fill in the missing values of our dataset. Then another case is the drop method. So the drop method is used to remove specific rows or columns from a data frame. So let's take an example so that we would be able to visualize the difference between using the drop NA method and the drop method. Here, so for our drop method, we have this data set, so name, age, and specialty. And we have dropped here the axis 1, where in place is true. So which means it is the position of the axis. So let's run it. So if you will notice, here are our data sets. So 0 is Anna, 21, and math. for axis 1 is Bowden 22 physics, and the axis 2 is Olena 20 and biology. And since we have dropped this position, so we only have Anna and Olena that was left, or that was the output of this query. So basically, the difference of using the drop NA and drop method is that on the drop NA method, it only drops all the missing the columns where there are missing values, wherein on the drop method, we will be able to specify which columns, or which line will we be dropping. Clear so far? Hello?
Yes po.
Okay, thank you. So those are the methods of removing and filling in your missing data. Now let's move on to the next topic, which is type conversion. So type conversion is performed when you need to change the data type of one or more columns in a data frame. This may be necessary for the correct processing of numeric, text, or data. So there will be times that your data won't be assigned the um, expected data type that they should be. So one thing that we can do is to convert the type, or convert this data to the accurate type that it should be. So let's take an example. Okay. So let's use this example in here. So we have here this data set, and as you can see on the construction of your age, they will be read as float. So since we are all aware that ages cannot be float, so we have to convert them into integers. So let's run this. Now, as you can see, after applying the AS type function or method, we were able to assign the field age as an integer. So if we will print it now, we will be able to see students if that our age are now in this that our age are now on integers data type. Okay, so again, we just used the as type method, then assign the specific data type, and then we were able to convert it into, in this case, an integer from float. Now, the next one is data standardization. So, standardization involves bringing data to a common format or scale. This can be useful, for example, when combining data from different sources. So, let's take this as an example. So, there will be times that when you are gathering data from different sources, you will be able to um, encounter some things like, if for example, on data types that are string or text, um, you have there some proper and improper text. So for you to be able to standardize or set a standard format, so this is how we will be able to deal with them. So on this example, we just converted the specialties to lowercase. So if, for example, you are about to join this data set to a different data set, but um, the other data set are in, for example, in a lowercase. So you also have to define your specialties on this current data set as lower so that they would be standardized. So it would be easier for us to track down the common data. So there are software tools that are case sensitive. So it's really important for us to consider every tool that we will be using as case sensitive, so that um, whenever we encounter having data from different sources, we always keep in mind that we have to standardize them, so that um, when you are on the analysis part, you won't go back to square one, which is cleaning your data again just because your strings aren't on the same boat. So, for example, not everything is in a lowercase, or not everything is on the all uppercase, or not everything is proper, and etc. So, here is the output of our standardized form. So since we had lowered the string for the special field specialty, so now here is the output. All of the specialty are on a lower case. Now, the next one would be removing duplicates. So duplicates can distort the results of the analysis. So if you have a lot of duplicates on your data set, it would really affect the output of your analysis. So it's important for us to remember that when the analysis that you are doing does not have to have a duplicate. So we have a lot of ways on how to deal with them. So in case of Python, so this is how we remove our duplicates. So not all of the time we don't have to we have to remove the duplicates, because there will be certain data sets wherein you have to accept all duplicate entries. So As for standardizing your duplicate numbers, so you have to consider the requirements of the business or your clients. So you have to confirm first if you have to remove your duplicates or not. Because again, sometimes duplicates, there will be times that duplicates will be acceptable. But if not, here is a way on how we will be able to drop our duplicates. So using the drop duplicates function, we will be able to delete our duplicates. So let's print our data here first. Let's move this one. Let's print our employees. So under employees, we have here certain duplicates. So for example, Lisa, Australia 19, and then here we also have another line for Lisa, Australia 19, then John, Denmark 23, John, Denmark 23. So when we drop our duplicates using the drop duplicates method, here is our output. So from here, we have the final data which have dropped the duplicates. So as you can see, we only have one entry for Lisa Australia 19 and John Denmark 23. So that is how we remove the duplicates on Python by using the drop duplicates function. Then the next function or method that we have is the replace method. So the replace method is used to replace one or more values in a data frame or series. So let's take this one as an example. So we have this data set, and we have here our method replace. So on our replace method, we have replaced the humidity, wherein if the humidity is high, we will assign it as 80. If the humidity is low, we will replace it to 30. So now let's see in here. Oh no, should have that in here. Then let's print the original data set first here. Weather TF. So here is our original data set. So the date, temperature, and humidity. And after replacing the humidity, here is the output. So earlier we have discussed regarding the fill NA method, which also replaced values. But for the fill NA method, we are just replacing those none or null values, while in using the replace method, we are replacing those values that are not null. So they have their original values, but we wanted to replace them to a different value. So that is the time that we will be using the replace method. So do you have any questions so far, or is everything clear so far? Okay, so if there are no questions, let's move on to our next topic, which is working with dates. So just like any other tools that we have discussed so far, Python also has its way of working with dates. So let's take these examples. So this is how we will be able to create a timestamp. So with the use of the timestamp method, so let's see what happens in here. So from a date, um, we were able to convert it as a timestamp with the present of the time. So if you have there a specific date and you want to have make it a timestamp, so you just use the timestamp method. And if, for example, we have a string and we want to convert it to a date, so this is how we will use it. So we just use the to date time method to convert our string into a date function. So since the construction of our string is like a timestamp, so it um it would be the output when we have converted converted it to date time. Now here is another way to use a date. So if, for example, we want to use the date time as our index. So first, let's assign our data set without using the date as the index. So let's run this one. So as you can see, we only have here the list of the temperatures. But if we will be adding again the index as a date, then we will have this one. So how does this index equals date was formulated? So it was using this one. So it was defined as the date range, which starts at 2021 September 1, frequency is day, and the periods is 8. So just like the last time we have discussed regarding the frequency of the date. So if it is letter D, it would be um day. Then if it's a month, then we would assign M. If it's a year, we will assign Y. Or if it is an hour, we will assign an H, and etc. So those information also are available at the LMS for your reference. So that is the discussion for dealing with dates. So do you have any questions so far or everything clear so far?
None so far.
Okay, thank you. So now let's move on to our next topic, which is merging data frames. So under merging data frames, we have subtopics, the concat method, the merge method, and the join method. So for the concat method, so you are all familiar with using the concat. So the concat method is used to concatenate along a specified axis. So this method can concatenate two or more data frames. So let's take this set as an example. So suppose we have this data set. So we have the data 1 defined by this data and the data 2 defined by this. So as you can see, the indexes are assigned. So we have here 1 and 2, then 3 and 4. So same for country and age. Now, for our concat method, so we just combined all the data that we gathered from employees 1 and employees 2. So employees 2 were defined by the data 2 and employees 1 were defined by data 1. Now, when we run this function, we will have this. Since the indexes are assigned, so we have this Michael as 1, index 1, John on index 2, Lisa on index 3, and John on index 4. So basically, when we are using the concat function, we are just combining or concatenating the tables that we we want to combine. Then on combining dataset, we also have the merge method. So the merge method merges data frames or name series objects by the specified columns or indexes. So let's take an example. So again, we have here dataset data 1 and data 2. So employees 1 were defined by data 1 and employees 2 were defined by data 2. Now we are using the method merge. Now unlike on the concat that we have just concatenated them. When using the merge method, we have to define the on or the on the column where they will be merged and how, which is defined as outer. So basically the on will be the on the SQL part. So this would be the join condition of your tables. So on this column, and then how is like the type of join that you will use. So on this example is the outer. So let's run this one. So as you can see, we have here the Michael, John, and Lisa. So if we are to look back on our original data set, we have two Michaels in here, wherein on data 1, Michael's country is Canada, and on data 2, Michael's age is 25. So when we merge them using the merge method, we were able to gather Michael, Canada, 25. But for the case of John and Lisa, so since John is only present on data 1, but not on data 2, so meaning it doesn't have a record for the age, that for the age, yes, so meaning um, John only has name and country, then for the age, it will be none. And same case for Lisa, which is not present on data 1, but present on data 2. So the only available data that we have for Lisa is her age. So it's Lisa 19 and a none on the country, since it doesn't have a equivalent data on our data 1. So another example of using the merge method is this one. So we basically have the same data set, but this time the how is inner. So we are merging them inner. So on our first example, how is outer, but on our current example, it is inner. So what will happen if we execute this one? So it only returned Michael, Canada, and 25. So just like on the SQL, wherein we have the inner and outer join. So for the inner join, only the intersection of your data set will be valid. So in here, since it is an inner merge, it only returned the output Michael, Canada 25, since it is the only um, name that is present on both data 1 and data 2. Is this clear so far? So were you
Yes.
able to get the difference between how inner and how outer? Okay, so another way of merging tables is the join method. So the join method is used to join columns of two data frames by indexes. So let's take an example of the join method. So under the join method, so we have again data 1 and data 2. So as you can see, we only have here the name country for data 1 and only the field age on data 2. So employees 1 were defined by data 1 and employees 2 were defined by data 2. So now using the join condition, so this is the construction of the join method. So we will define the first data frame, which is the employees, then join or the method join, and the table or the data frame that we will join with our first data frame. Now we were able to combine them. So as you can see, the indexes in here were defined in our individual data frames. That is why we were able to um, join them using the join method. So basically, the join method uses or joins using the index. So the difference between the merge and the join method is that the merge method um, the merge method joins your data frames by the specified columns or index, while the join method joins them using their indexes. So we have here another example of the join method. So again, we have the data sets data 1 and data 2, then data frames employees 1 and 2 defined by data 1 and 2. Now, um, in this case, we have set our index to name. That is why when we join them, we are like using the merge method, which has the on and how functions. So let's not be confused by that part, okay? So on our merge method, going back to merge, we only define here the on and how, but in using the join method, you have to specify first the index so you can use them on the on and for you to be able to use the how. So again, the join method um, merges your data using the index. That is why it is important for you to set the index first if you are going to use a field. So set it as an index first before declaring a on and how functions. So let's run this one. So now we have here Michael Canada 25. So we have here Michael Canada. Then since we also have Michael in here, so it joined its country and age. Then for John and Lisa, so the same condition wherein one is not present in data 1 and one is not present in data 2. That is why we were able to gather none. So in here, the indexes were defined by employees 1. So as you can see, the index of Lisa is none because it was from employees 2 or data 2. Is it clear so far on how will we be able to use the join and merge functions or methods. So here is another example on how we will use the join method. So using the same data set, data 1 and data 2, we have defined or set the index as the name. And in here, when we used the join method, we only define the how. So let's see the output in here. So when we didn't define the on on our join condition, first thing that were eliminated were the indexes 0, 1, and etc. So since we have set the index as the name, so the names would be our indexes instead of having 0, 1, 2, etc. But basically, we will just have the same output as this one without the 0, 1, 2. But for John, the age would still be none. And for Lisa, the country would still be none. So, was it clear so far? Also, sorry, another difference is that in here on the first example, we only applied the index name on employees too. That is why we also had this one in here. So if we are to set the index, for example, on this one, so since the index was assigned to both employees 1 and employees 2, um, there were no indexes as 0, 1, and 2 on this output, since it was clarified that your index for employees 1 and employees 2 must be set to name. And since they are both the indexes, you don't have to declare them also on the on, since the join method joins your data set by index. Clear so far? Hello? Okay, so if there won't be any questions, we'll just take a breather from here. So we'll just take a quick break before proceeding to the next topic. So let's take 15-minute break. So let's all go back at 9:10 p.m. Hello guys, are you all back? Okay, thank you. So now let's continue our discussion. Now, do you have any questions regarding the previous topic, or can we continue on our next topics? Okay, so if there are no questions, let us continue. So now let's discuss about applying functions to data. So we have the apply and the apply map method. So the apply method in Pandas allows you to apply a function to each element of a column or row of a the data frame. This can be useful for performing custom operations on data. So let's take this example. Now, so we have here a data set with the field's date and temperature C, or temperature in Celsius. So now we will use the apply method to apply certain functions. So in this case, lambda. Now we have here a formula wherein the temperature multiplied by 9 over 5 plus 32. So this formula is the formula used to convert a temperature from Celsius to Fahrenheit. So is um the method that we will be applying in here. So we have here a new field, temperature F, wherein the temperature F is defined using this formula. So it's temperature C, then we apply the lambda, wherein the temperature is multiplied by 9 over 5 plus 32. So let's see. Now, if we are to print our original data, so we will only have this part. So it's only the date and temperature C. But since we have applied the apply method, so we were able to add another column or another field, which is the temperature F, and we have applied this formula. So meaning we have converted our temperature from Celsius to Fahrenheit. So another example of the apply method. So we have here the data sets product, price, and discount. Now we will apply another lambda function to each row using apply with axis is equal to 1. Now we will add another field in here, which is the final price, wherein we will use the apply method. So the lambda row that we will be using is the row price. So here is our formula. Okay, so it's the row price times 1 minus row discount, then access is equal to 1. So let's first execute this one. Now, we have calculated here a final price, which is formulated as the row price times 1 minus row discount, and axis is equal to 1. So our axis 1 is here, is the price. So again, when using our apply method, we just have to use the function lambda, then define the for in this case the formula that we will be using to calculate our new field. Do you have any questions so far regarding the apply method? Okay, no questions so far. Now, let's discuss about the apply method or the apply map method. So the apply map method can be used to apply a function to each element of a data frame. This is different from the apply method, which applies function to each column or row. It works only at the element level, so it is great for operations that do not depend on other columns or rows. So let's take an example on using the apply map method. Now we have here an example data about products and their prices. So we have here the product iPhone 13 and the product MacBook Pro. So with their respective prices. So now we want to apply a 10% discount to all prices using the apply map and lambda function. So let's first run this one. So just like on the apply method, we will use here the lambda function and define the formula that we are going to use. But as you can see in this case, we did not created another field. Instead, we have applied it to every available field that we have. So let's print it here. Print F. So from our original data set, so our data frame, from our original data frame, the prices of iPhone 13 and MacBook Pro are 699 and 799 and 1299 and 1499. And then after applying the apply map method, we were able to use this formula, which is a price times 0.9 or the 90% because we are applying a 10% discount to the prices. Now, the updated price of our products are now 629.1, 719.1, 1169.1, and 1349.1, which represents a 10% discount of these products. Okay. Do you have a question or confusion regarding the difference of the apply and apply map? Okay, so give me a minute. Okay. So if there are no questions, so let's move on to our last topic for tonight and for this block, which is creating a pivot table on Python. So by now we are all familiar on what a pivot table is. So basically it's creating another set of table from your main table. So suppose we have this data set. So let's print our data set. So as the main table, so we have this fruit color, quantity, and price. Now we have to create a pivot table out of this table that we have. So we will just simply apply the pivot table method and the things that we want to use. So we have here the values as the price, the index as the fruit, and columns as the color. So just like on the Google Sheets when we are creating our pivot tables, so we have to define which are the rows, columns, and the values that we will be using. So in this case, the index will be our rows, and then our columns and our values. So let's run this one. So now we will have this. So for the apple, we have the green, red, and yellow. So if we will look at the green apple, let's look for the green apple. So its price is 4. Then for green banana, banana green, so the price is 2. And for green pear, we have 7. Then for red apple, we have 5. So then we don't have a red banana, so we have here none. We also don't have a red pear, so it is also a none. Then we don't have a yellow apple, so it's none. But we have here yellow banana, which has a 3 as its price, and then the yellow pear, which is priced at 6. So basically, this is how we end up creating a pivot table on Python. So let's take another example. So in here, aside from the values indexed in the columns, we were also able to define the margins and the fill value. Now, the fill value, so it will be the value used to fill in the missing values. Then, for the margins, so if it is set as true, then it will add the rows or columns with totals, or rather rows and columns with totals. So we have here margins declared as true. And if you can see in here, we have a field all and here all. And then we have here the fill value, which is 0. So as you can see, all the none in here became 0 when we have the fill value. So we also have other functions that we can declare when using the pivot table. So we can look up to the LMS so that we will be able to define all the parameters that we can use when creating a pivot table on Python. So for our next example, we will use Seaborn, and from there gather a data set. So just like the last time that we were able to import the data set MPG, but now from Seaborn. So in this case, we will be importing the data set Titanic from Seaborn. So let's take a look at what what do we have on our data set. So on our data set, so we have applied the method head so that we will see the first 5 lines of our table or data set Titanic. So we have here the following columns. So we have the survive, the P class, sex, age, SIBSP, Parch, fair embarked, class, who, adult male, deck, embarked, down, alive, and alone. So these are the fields present on our dataset, Titanic. Now let us create a pivot table out of this one. So suppose that we want to create a pivot table from dataset Titanic, wherein the values are the age, then our index or rows is the class, columns are sex, and aggregation function is equal to mean. So now we will have the following um, indexes. So which is a class. So we have the first, second, and third, and then our columns are sex. So we have here the male and female. And then, since we have here an aggregated function mean, so it means that our values or our age, our values will be the mean age of our index and column. So the mean age of the females in the first class is 34.61, while the males on the first class has a mean age of 41.28, and etc. And then we have here another set of example. So on this example, we have two index levels. So when creating pivot tables, we are also when creating pivot tables on Google Sheets, we also have a way on creating them with two index levels or two row levels on the Google Sheets function. So or the Google Sheets tool. So in here we have again the dataset Titanic, then values are still age, but we have the indexes class and survived, and then for the columns we have the sex, and for the aggregation function we have the mean. So when we print this, as you can see in here, we have our index class and survived. So for survived, we only have 0 and 1 as the output. So going back to our main table, for the survived column, we only have 0 and 1. So on this type of data, so it's possible that 0 means died and 1 means survived. So on encoding our data, so there will be times that you will be adjusting your string functions to numeric your string data to numeric data, so that you will be able to apply specific formula to them. So now since we have two indexes, so for the first class who did not survive, we have a mean age of 25.67, and then for those in first class who have survived, so we have a mean age of 34.94 for females, and then 36.25 for males, and etc. So basically it's just like creating your pivot tables like just like on Google Sheets. So it's just that we are coding it in here instead of just click and ticks, just like what we are doing during the Google Sheets block. And another example of creating a pivot table. So now we have here different aggregation functions. So for the values, so we have the fair and the survived, and for index we have the class and the sex. And for the aggregation function, so for fair, we will aggregate them by mean, and for survived is by count. So let us run this one. Now, since we have the index for class and sex, so here are the class and here are the sex, then since we have two values, so this will be our columns as well with their aggregation. So the fair are aggregated by mean, and the survived were aggregated by count. So meaning on the first class, the average fare for the females is 106.13, and there were 94 females in the first class who survived the Titanic. And for males, so we have an average fare of 67.23, and the males who survived on the first class during the Titanic are 122. Now, do you have any questions regarding creating a pivot table on Python? So basically, this is the last topic that we will be discussing for tonight. And tonight's session is also the last session for this block. And as announced, we will be having a free week next week. So we won't be having live sessions next week. And then it's for you to be able to catch up with your homework. So Python does not have a lot of homeworks. So if you have pending homeworks from previous blocks, so let's try to catch up and be current before starting the block 5, which is the last block for this course. And our last block only has 3 or 4 topics to discuss. So you only have that time frame to cover all of the pending tasks and homeworks that you have for you to be able to graduate from this course. And yes, your graduation is approaching. So as early as now, I am congratulating all of you who are able to survive this up to this block, and we only have a few meetings to go for you to finish this course. And also another reminder is the NPS survey. So if I'm not mistaken, you will be able to see it on your LMS under block 4 topic 3. So you will be able to answer the survey in there. So if you haven't answered the survey yet, please take time to do so. So does anyone else have other questions regarding this block?
None so far, teacher. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So regarding the error that you have been encountering on LMS, so with the auto checks for topics 1 and 2, some of the cases are already posted on Mentor's channel. So if you see any other error message other than those who are that are already posted on Mentor's channel, so you can either DM us or post it as well on Mentor's channel for our visibility so that we will be able to report them. So we still don't have the feedback as to why we encounter the error on the auto checks. But it is not on you if you encounter these errors. So do not worry. Do not worry if you won't be able to get the correct answers for those part only where we encounter some errors. But for those cases that are okay, so be sure to have your auto checks accepted. Then also make sure to submit all of the pending homeworks that you have and all of the homeworks that we have for this block. So this topic has a homework on LMS. So you can look it up now, and if you have any questions regarding that, so we could discuss. Then what else? So if you will be needing any help or assistance, for example, to catch up on previous homeworks, don't forget, just don't hesitate to message me or mentor to ask for help, and we will surely give you the assistance that you need. And for the notebook of this discussion, so the same as before, I will be providing the link on where you can see everything that we have discussed tonight. So, how is it going for all of you? How is this block so far? So,
Medyo confusing lang.
mm-hmm,
We haven't done any homework yet for this one. I just finished the auto check for topic for assignment one.
mm-hmm.
I'm still finishing the block three. But after that, maybe I can check this.
Okay, so if ever that you will be needing any further assistance or for you to be able to complete your homeworks for block 3, so just don't hesitate to ask.
Going to take.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, it's just a bit confusing, but it's not as complicated as SQL. So if we are to compare the scripting of Python and SQL, so I would say that SQL would be more complicated than this one. But of course, if you see SQL as an easier topic, so it's on you. I mean, if you understand that more, right? So anyway, if questions on your homeworks for this block are complicated or hard to understand, just let us know. So maybe again, it's just lost in translation. So yeah. So how do you feel about you reaching the end of this block and that we are approaching to our last block?
Oh, sorry. Can you repeat the question, Mentor Christine?
I mean, how do you feel that you are already here on the end of block 4, and next meeting we will be discussing the start of our last block? So,
A little bit confident.
mm-hmm.
So, if you don't mind, Mentor Christine, what would be the block 5?
Block 5 will be about A/B testing.
Okay. Can you explain it further?
Well, actually, I haven't applied it yet myself. So, it's more of, how do I say this? Wait, think I'll just see if I'll be able to share something to you. I'm not sure for the specific topics that we will be discussing about A/B testing because what do you call this? I'm still waiting for the translated um presentation, but I can find my notes. Wait.
Right.
So yeah, the materials that we will be needing are not yet translated. Just check mine.
And question mentor, teacher, sorry.
Mhm.
After we finish the A/B testing, we will do our own project, right?
Yes, what I know is that you will be having your what do you call this, final project, but I'm not actually sure as well what will be the topics that will be covered, or what is
Mhm.
exactly the thing that you are doing, that you will be doing for that topic. So yeah.
Tapos, assist niyo naman kami doon or on our own na kami dun?
Ang alam ko hindi na kami ano, parang hindi na kami magkakaroon ng parang like hindi na tayo magkakaroon ng ganitong mga formal
Presentation.
interactions, pero we will still be available to cater questions. Just
Okay.
that hindi na tayo magkakaroon ng ganito na may mga live sessions to discuss things. And
Okay.
I'm not sure as well kung sino yung mag-hand over sa inyo nung task, if it's Data ba or si Rhea. So yeah, I'm not sure about that information.
Okay, got it. Thank you, teacher.
Pero basically, ang magiging topics lang din naman is kung ano yung natakal natin dito. O kung ano yung mga topics na diniscuss natin. Yun at yun lang din yung lalabas.
Combination from block 1, ganun.
I think yes. Hindi pa din kasi hina-hand over sa amin yung ano yung magiging final project nyo. Parang na-discuss lang siya na at the end of the course, you will have it. Pero ako, wala pa akong idea kung ano yung magiging ano yung magiging final project niya.
This question din, teacher. Pag nag-a-apply ka sa work ng data analyst, they are
Mhm.
always looking for a project that you made.
Sorry.
Naghahanap sila ng mga project na nagawa mo if nag-a-apply ka as a data analyst.
Meron mga naghahanap ng mga parang mga projects na nagawa mo na, or for example, if ang a-applyan mo is mga data visualization role. So minsan naghahanap sila ng portfolio kung may mapapakita ka, something gano'n. So siguro dun sa mga portfolios niyo, puwede niyong i-include yung mga, for example dun sa, um, for visualization role, baka puwede niyo ding ipakita yung mga homeworks niyo, for example sa Tableau.
Hmm,
Kasi kayo naman yung gumawa nun and they were published naman publicly, 'di ba?
yes.
So, if confident kayo sa kung ano yung nagawa nyo during that block, pwede nyo siyang ipakita sa kanila actually. So, 'di ba? Parang para at least may nafe-flex na kayo, 'di ba? Pero ako, hindi ako nakakapag-provide kasi I'm working in a company na ano, we have the client data protection, something ganun. So, everything is confidential. So, wala akong pwedeng ilabas. Pero okay lang naman din yun kasi syempre may intindihan naman nung pag a mo kung bakit hindi mo mapoprovide. Ayun. Ni other pa. Sorry, hindi ko makita yung notes ko ng A/B testing eh. Pero I have here parang ano lang, parang eto pala yung mga s- parang specific topics na i-discuss during A/B testing. So, the statistics, then creating a test plan, then analyzing and presenting test results. So, A/B testing kasi is ano lang din, parang comparison lang siya. So, you're comparing one thing to another. Parang ganun siya. Then, um, application of statistics to support your ano to support your analysis na which one is better or why is one thing is better than the other, parang ganon. So if for example you have two marketing strategies na gusto mong i-test kung alin yung mas effective, ganon. So mag mag-a-analyze ka using A/B testing. So which is better, which is not. So parang ganon. So from its word ano lang din, testing. So ite-test mo, pagko-comparein mo lang din sila, parang ganon.
Sabi mo, teacher, 3 topics lang yung meron tayo doon, no? Sa A/B testing.
Mm.
3 homeworks din yan.
Uh, for homework, teka, check ko. Kasi for this block, naging ano sa homework eh. Wala masyado. Teka, topic 2. Mukhang meron yung 3 topics ng homework. Based sa sa plan, meron. Ayun nga lang, di ko mapakita sa inyo yung pinaka-background nung magiging flow ng discussion natin kasi hindi pa siya translated. But yes, merong homework yung tatlo.
Copy po.
Ayun. So, other questions pa.
None so far sa end ko po.
Okay, how about the others? None din po so far. Okay, so if you don't have any more questions, so let's close this one na. And yeah, so next week is free week. So see you in 2 weeks for the last block. And ipaprovide ka na lang din yung link nung Google Colab notebook sa LMS channel ko.
Thank you, teacher.
Okay, thank you
Thank you,
everyone.
mentor.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.